Mighty, mighty, mighty. Angel Stub Enough 7.
BlogTalk Radio.
As we set fire.
Mention Brother Gaddafi for a minute. I don't know what's going on in Libya. I haven't been there in a while. But Muammar Gaddafi has always been my friend. And people tell me that I should distance myself from my brother. See, I'm not that kind of punctified Negro. I said earlier, there's nothing more painful than civil war. Do you know how much money the Congress of the United States spent? Over $150 to $200 million for regime change in Iran? You don't spend that kind of money and not be in a man's house working with those who are dissatisfied. I want to ask you a question. Name me one king, one ruler that has 100% of the love of his people. Name one. Come on. You can't find one. What about Jesus? Wait a minute. See the punctified people? I don't like that language, but we need people. Jesus, after doing all that good, all of a sudden, they charged him with sedition. Man, I didn't see Peter. Peter punked right out. I mean, aren't you with that man? Oh no, I ain't never seen that man before. The rest of the disciples went running. The false witnesses arose. And there was poor Jesus. But man, he was there with Pilate. Now Pilate was the governor. Thank you, son. That's nice. I'm almost there, you know. Look, Pilate was of the Roman authorities, but it was the Jews that hated Jesus. Now wait. Why did they hate him? Because he came to offer them life, but he was bringing judgment on them. But he was 2,000 years too soon to do it. That's right. Paul saw him as a man born out of due season, but he did his job. Look at Pilate. Man, Pilate looked at Jesus. He said, look, I don't know. He walked out to the crowd. I wash my hands of this. This man is innocent, but he gave him over to the Jews. And Palm Sunday, these people were saying, Hosanna. See how fickle people are? A few days later, crucifying. Now I ask you a question. What man you see in America standing up to the Jews, the unrighteous, unholy Jews, not the righteous Jews, but those wicked ones who are a part of the synagogue of Satan? Okay? Who's doing that? Say it again. Don't you think that I know that there's a price that I gotta pay? That's why you all stay the hell away from me, because you're scared to walk with me, because you're looking for a favor from them and the enemies of our people. I'm not a hater of the Jewish people. But I know the truth. Some of you think that I'm just somebody that's got something in for the Jewish people. You're stupid. Do you think I would waste my time if it was not important that you know Satan? My job is to pull the cover off of Satan so that he will never deceive you and the people of the world again. I'm closing. What is sedition? Its actions or words intended to incite rebellion against government authority. I can't tell black people to fight a war that is Israel's war. What kind of leader will you be, or should I be, to allow these babies, black, white, and brown, to fight Israel's war because Zionists dominate the government of the United States of America and her banking system? Treason, the crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill the sovereign or overthrow the government. I'm not guilty of that, but some are planning that right now. We have given America the best that we have in Barack Obama. We don't agree with everything he's doing, but the way Mr. Obama has been mistreated impacts on every black person and the whites and the Hispanics and others who voted for him. with the help of right-minded people, he could probably help America to solve a lot of its problems. But he was selected for a purpose. And that purpose was not to be the champion of the rights of black people. You must remember, he's the head of a corporation. That's right. That's exactly right. That I don't think he owns any stock in. He's the corporate head. He's the CEO of the United States of America, meaning a black man is in charge of white affairs. We've seen those type before. I'm the first to be the CEO of Merrill Lynch. I'm the first. So you want us to bow down because you're taking care of somebody else's business while your own people don't have a job? You want us to bow down? I'm proud that we elected him. And if he never does anything, he did it all when he freed the minds of our children to think that they can be more than basketball players and football players and runners and jumpers and musicians and sports people. He freed the minds of our babies to think that we can become world rulers. And if he never does anything else, that's all right. He didn't campaign as the black leader. That's what you say you are. Well, damn it, get up and lead then. Well, he's the president. He should be able to do something for us. Yeah, he should. But between him and the program of TARP, Trouble Assets Relief Program, there's a whole bureaucracy of racism. So when the money is released, you're the last one to get anything if you get anything. So there's anger building in America against our brother. He's not really an American. He's not born here. He's really a Muslim trying to tell the people he's a Christian. They paint him now as Adolf Hitler. Yes, they do. They paint him as the Joker. They mock his wife. That hurts us all. Now, these are my words for our brother president. See, in 1942, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was sent to prison because President Roosevelt issued an executive order to take him off the streets while America was prosecuting a war. And America needed some black bodies to go and fight a war, even though there was no benefit for us in fighting such a war. The Zionists are pushing President Obama to go to war with Iran over some suspected nuclear power that the Israelis have that Iran does not have. Do you think that I should stand by quiet if Israel attacks Iran? America is going to come into it. So that means they're calling us. 35 to 50. Hell, they might call you when you're 60. We got trouble over there. Your country needs you. Say, damn, now you need us? We needed a job. We didn't see one. We need justice. We don't have none. You're killing our people in the streets. What about that? You're taxing the hell out of us. We're losing our homes because you tricked us. Where's any relief for us? Well, don't worry. Just fight this war, and when it's over, things are going to get better for you. Do you think that they're afraid of my voice? Yeah, they are. I don't have no guns. I got something in my mouth that's more powerful than guns. Most of you can't shoot straight anyway. But hell with the truth that I speak, I don't miss a damn soul. And I didn't miss none of you today. Allah's truth found you wherever you are. When Carol Moseley Braun was a U.S. senator, she came and had dinner with me one day. And we were talking about things, and I remember how these words rolled out of her mouth. But you know, Minister, they can arrest you for treason. I said, well, before they get to me, here comes Gaddafi. The last time I sat with that brother, my brother, here's what I told him. I said, Brother Gaddafi, America will never forgive you for what you've done, and they'll come among you only to destroy you and the revelation that you have brought into being. He patted me on my leg as if to say, I know, brother. He didn't say a word. He just patted my leg. He didn't have no problem until he let them in. You gonna hear me today. I was in Iraq 3 days before the bombs fell in '91. There were Muslim Sunni mosques. There were Shia mosques. There were Christian churches and Jewish temples and synagogues. And even under Saddam Hussein, there was peace among them. Isn't that right, Brother Baghdadi? But when America went in, under the guise that he had weapons of mass destruction, did they find any? So what was shock and awe about? You want to bring Gaddafi before the International Criminal Court? What about Bush? What about Rumsfeld? What about a government that lied to the American people and caused the lives of hundreds of thousands to be lost? Obama looks like easy pickings now, because his house appears to be in disarray. I listened to our president the other night. I watched the way he talked to his friend Mubarak. Mubarak been there for 30 years. The friend of every American president. So whatever he was not doing for his people, America sure knew it. Well, when did we find out that we should be for the people? After the people rose up. America tried to get in behind the cart. They need to put America out of Iraq, out of Afghanistan, because the trouble didn't begin until the troublemaker came in. He's the sociopathic mind I was talking about. When they set up the embassy, practically all the members of the embassy were CIA. They aren't there for peace, they're there to destabilize. The people are still gathering in Tahrir Square. They're not satisfied. Well, that fell off the radar. Then there was Bahrain. America got a naval base there. He killed some of his people too. I didn't hear the president say, well, now, wait a minute. He did, a little tepid little thing, You all be careful now. You shouldn't harm people who are innocent. But after a while, he got strong on Mubarak. See, there's a frog in the dragon's mouth. When the dragon swallows a frog, you might hear bleep, beep, bleep, beep. But it's really the dragon talking through the frog. You didn't hear me. Barack is a good man, but he's under the control of bad people. Barack is a good man, but he's under the control of bad people. He brought some of them around him because he's a constitutional lawyer, not an economist. He brought people from Goldman Sachs. So they encouraged him to take that money and bail out Wall Street. Now they're accusing him of breaking the American economy when it was $12 trillion in debt when he got into office. They don't talk about Bush's $800 billion that he borrowed and nobody knows where the hell the money went. So they're setting Obama up. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Now, the Zionists say, look, we got a chance. Gaddafi's weak now. Let's send Hillary to Switzerland and get the United Nations to come on board so we can give a military response. So they're building up all this killing. See? But you don't really know that that's true. Do we? That's what they're saying. Some of it could be, but hell, you got to check a devil. You got to check a liar. And you don't have the means by which to check them because you're a slave to the corporate media of America. Isn't that a shame what he's doing to his people? Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. When your people don't have jobs and they're out of their homes and they're living in the streets and they're angry and they rise up, do you think the police are coming to tell you, now just a minute, Negroes, you people, we're doing the best we can. Superintendent Weiss ordered 17,000 automatic rifles with armor-piercing bullets for the Chicago Police Department. And I asked him, what are you expecting? I didn't get an answer. I know what they're expecting. They're expecting you to rise up. And I guarantee you, they're coming. And when they come, they're coming to kill. Mark my words. White folk in America are armed to the teeth. And they're angry with their own government. Do you think that they coming to tell white Americans that are armed? Just a moment, we'll straighten it out. We're now listening to the Tea Party. Everything is going to be all right. They'll shoot them down like dogs in the street. Mark my words, this is coming to America in a very short while. Now, President Obama, if you allow the Zionists to push you to mount a military offensive against Gaddafi, and you go in and kill him and kill his sons, as you did with Saddam Hussein and his sons, I'm warning you, this is a Libyan problem. Let the Libyans solve their problem among themselves. Now, lastly, if America goes to war, President Obama, like Franklin Delano Roosevelt, may be forced to sign an executive order that he's not fully in agreement with, to take Farrakhan off the streets and charge him with sedition and treason. I told my followers that when they come, I don't want you fighting them because they're only coming to kill you. I've been expecting them. I know what I got to go through. But I know I'm going to be the winner. That I know. So why you want Gaddafi dead? He's the only Arab that has ever apologized for the Arab role in the transatlantic slave trade. Did you hear what I just said? Now, people think that I'm hard on Jews for their role in the transatlantic slave trade, which I am. But I have never, ever relinquished my point that Arabs were involved, Africans were involved, Europeans were involved in the horror of the transatlantic slave trade. So I was a guest of Muammar Gaddafi in Libya. And I mentioned that the Arab Arabs were involved in the slave trade. One of his staff people ran out of the hall and ran back to Brother Gaddafi to tell him what Farrakhan had said. And guess what Brother Leader said, as I heard? He said, well, at least you know he's not a politician. See, if I was trying to curry favor to get Libyan money, I would say the thing that I thought they would like to hear. But I have never been a whore, and can't nobody buy me. Allah is sufficient. And for any of you stupid reporters who are the enemies of the American people, to say that Farrakhan supports Gaddafi because Gaddafi loaned millions of dollars. Let me tell you something. What Gaddafi loaned the nation is like somebody spitting on fertile ground expecting a tree to grow. And for you to malign my character, that you think that I speak for him because I need money, I say to hell with all the money that he and everybody else has. I am not supported by that. I'm supported by Allah, and the love of the people for me, they support me. And they have given me more than Gaddafi has ever promised to give me. When I was in Libya, 86 nations were meeting there, and I spoke before those 86 nations and told them my experience and warned Secretary of State Schultz and Attorney General Edwin Meese and Ronald Reagan, President, not to attack Libya. Unfortunately, they paid us no attention, naturally. So the most expensive assassination attempt in the history of the world, second only to this latest assassination attempt, which, according to all the news, brought a successful conclusion from NATO, the UN, and America's point of view. But your joy, I hate to say, your joy will be short-lived. For what you have done, America, England, France, Italy, Canada, and who else was involved? 4 great nations, plus some of the Arab League, Qatar, and others. You have set in motion something that will ultimately bring about the destruction, first, of the UN. Here now, the UN scrambling to tell the world you want to really know what happened to Muammar Gaddafi, a sitting head of state, that this weak United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, and American tutelage, and the vote of the Security Council, that there would be a no-fly zone to stop Gaddafi's planes from flying. Well, you were going to protect humanitarian relief, but you succeeded in being the author of the assassination of a sitting president or ruler of his country. Well, what are the consequences of such an act? None of us can trust the United Nations again because it is a pawn of the Western world. No nation that had weapons
of mass destruction would dare give them up as Muammar Gaddafi gave up his. You can forget it with North Korea. You can forget it with Pakistan. You can forget it with any nation that has them. And now any nation that does not have weapons of mass destruction will be clamoring to get them, because that means that is the only protection they have from these wicked witches of the West. So you've earned now a great war that is on the horizon. And killing Muammar Gaddafi, you have upset revolutionaries throughout the world, and American interests are in danger now, because the spirit that is in the world that loved him will be to do harm to American interests. Well, is that your spirit, Minister Farrakhan? I don't need weapons. The weapon that I have is the tongue that God gave me, and the word that he gave me to speak, and the warning that he gave me to give America and the world. No, I don't have that in my heart, but the scripture is very clear. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and you are about to reap all that you have sown, and then some. He was killed in a military uniform. He wanted to be buried in the khaki clothes that he was wearing. And of course, you heard the news that they took his body out in the middle of the night. He and his son, Mutasim, who we have in a picture meeting with Hillary Clinton a year and a half ago and shaking hands with Secretary of State Clinton, which should show the world that shaking hands with your enemy and receiving a pat on the back from your enemy should never lull you to sleep that the enemy has changed. The enemy is the enemy. And when you fall asleep on that knowledge, that is when the enemy will take us out. The betrayals of his inner circle. Don't think that that is overseas. That is in our own house. And we today need to watch for those close around for signs of betrayal. Because it is written in the scriptures of the Bible that in the last days perilous times will come. And betrayal will be one of the marks of the end of the world, because people will feel that they'll be safer betraying a good cause, a just cause, to save their lives. Gaddafi died in honor, fighting for the Libya that he believed in. They would never have won if NATO was not bombing day in and day out. Brother Ali Baghdadi, that is a writer and a great Arab writer, said they bombed Libya back to the Stone Age. We were in Libya. We saw Libya being built from the ground up. We witnessed what this man did for the Libyan people. And for NATO to have bombed it like this, watch for Halliburton, watch for Bechtel, watch for the vultures of London, England, and France, and others trying to rebuild the infrastructure that they purposely destroyed, which is against international law. You went for humanitarian purposes, yet 50,000 Libyans lie dead because the West wanted access to the wealth of Libya. Now let me tell you what this man did. Did he kill people? Well, hell, did our president kill people? Talk back to me. You have made your president an assassin. That the only value that he has now is that he was responsible for the death of Osama bin Laden. He was captured without a weapon. He should have been brought to America, put on trial for the American people to see this man. But he was executed, so you will never know the real truth. Then Alaki, an American citizen who is against America's policies, a drone took him out and then came back later and killed his son. Now Muammar Gaddafi and his sons lie dead. Saddam Hussein and his sons lie dead. Well, what about your sons? They're dying in Iraq on the basis of a lie. They're dying in Afghanistan on the basis of a lie. And now drones are in Pakistan, drones in Somalia, drones in Yemen. When will it stop? America, do you think that you can get away with this? If it's time for another commercial, then you go on and take the commercial. I'm just warming up.
All right. Thank you, Brother Minister.
Peace forever and always. Welcome to another edition of the Realities Temple on Earth. Your host is His Divine Masculine Brother AdMinister Taalik Ibn'rad.